Hi, my name is Joe Yarshin, and thank you for tuning in to Kick in the Rear podcast. The Real Estate Investment Review, the goal of this podcast is to review books related to real estate, business, and entrepreneurship to help you with your real estate journey. Hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Welcome in to Kick in the Rear podcast, episode 30. My name is Joe Yarshin. Today we're going to be reviewing Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F, a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. So right off the bat, just want to say that this is a mindset book, that this book is very applicable to entrepreneurs, business owners, real estate enthusiasts. But overall, I would say it's applicable to anybody that's just looking to improve their anxiety, stress, and improve their daily life. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right. Well, to start out with, I'd like to just give a brief overview. I did look at ThriveStreetAdvisors.com. I thought they had a good brief explanation of what the book is about. So I'll start with that and then read some quotes and go over that with you. So in brief, Manson's main point in the book is that you cannot truly find happiness through an external driven definition of a success. Happiness comes from having values that you believe in and choosing to dedicate your time and effort there at the expense of other things. That is, focus the F's you give. So some key concepts from the book. There's a subtle art to not giving an F, and though the concept may sound ridiculous and he sounds like an a-hole, what he's talking about is essentially learning how to focus, prioritize your thoughts effectively, how to pick and choose what matters to you and what does not matter to you based on finely honed personal values. So he says, subtlety number one, not giving F does not mean being indifferent. It means being comfortable with being different. That's on page 14. On page 17, subtlety number two, he says to not give a F about adversity. You must first give a F about something more important than adversity. So subtlety number three on page 18, whether you realize it or not, you're always choosing what to give a F about. So he states that problems are ever present. It's about making your problems good. Problems never stop. They merely get exchanged or upgraded. Happiness is a constant work in progress because solving problems is a constant work in progress. Solutions to today's problems will lay the foundation for tomorrow's problems, and so on. That's on page 31. Having poor or ill-defined values is what causes people not to focus their energy on the right things. He talks about the do something principle. So on page 161, taking advantage of this knowledge, we can actually reorient our mindset in the following way: action, inspiration, motivation. So again, he talks about it being a choice. Some quotables. Thrive Street Advisors talks about, so you can use page 5, for example, at the beginning of the book. The key to a good life is not giving a F about more. It's giving a F about less, giving a F about only what is true and immediate and important. So page 9, the desire for more positive experience is itself a negative experience. And paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. Talks about on page 19, maturity is what happens when one learns only to give a F about what's truly F worthy. Love that one. It's pretty funny. Page 38, what determines your success isn't what you do, isn't what do you want to enjoy. The relevant question is, what pain do you want to sustain? Page 94, we don't always control what happens to us, but we always control how we interpret what happens to us as well as how we respond. I love that one. Page 117 says growth is an endlessly iterative process. When we learn something new, we don't go from wrong to right. Rather, we go from wrong to slightly less wrong. Page 139, when we let go of the stories we tell about ourselves to ourselves, we free ourselves up to actually act and fail and grow. So overall, I thought this book was, I'll give it a 90 out of 100. It was really good. It would just, it wasn't like over the top great, but like, again, just puts things in perspective. At the end of the book, he really talks about a cool personal example about like climbing this cliff and just being present and feeling all the negative and positive emotions in that moment and living presently, and just it's good to overcome anxiety and whatnot. But I thought this book was great. It is a #1 New York Times bestseller, over 3 million copies sold. So if you're looking for something quick, simple, another mindset book, this is definitely a great one. So highly recommend it. Again, if you enjoyed this podcast, please like, share, subscribe with anybody you know who's into real estate, entrepreneurship, business, trying to grow their real estate portfolio. I know that's what I'm doing on this podcast. I'm trying to share my journey and experience, help you, cut down on the time you spend reading things that don't matter. And weirdly enough, I think all the books I've read so far have helped me in some way. So I've yet to come across a real estate book that isn't great. All of these have been recommendations, though. So that's probably a lot of the success of the knowledge inside of the book. So again, bippity boppity investment property. Going to have a real estate book for you next week. Let's go.